Hello everyone and welcome back. Today's video is going to cover replacing the starter on the 38. It went bad on me a couple of weeks ago. Did a little research on what I should order. Ended up going with a 12 volt high torque starter. It'll spin the engine at a little bit faster RPM at startup, which hopefully will make for easier starting and should last longer than the old 6 volt starter did. So hopefully everything will go smooth. Yeah, who am I kidding? I'm filming this after the fact. It's already done. I know it went smooth, but I'm sure you're going to enjoy the video. So stick around and we'll get started. Here's the replacement starter. It's a Powermaster. It's supposed to be a high torque starter. It looks like it should be pretty straightforward to install. I believe that's billet on the end here. Pretty lightweight, about 7 or 8 pounds. And a couple of mounting holes. And then depending on your electrical setup, with the external solenoid, you're going to put a jumper wire across here. Without a solenoid, you'll have a wire for each one. Let's get started, see how it goes. First thing I'm doing is disconnecting the battery, which is just fine with me. I've got a battery tender I wanted to wire in so I don't have to put the clips on every time. So we're going to take care of that today also. So from what I'm seeing here, it looks like I just have the one wire going to the starter right there, which is going to require that jumper wire across the 2 points on the starter. So we got the old starter out. I had these 2 longer bolts that go through the case and into the engine block to hold it together, or hold it to the block. What I did not anticipate was the coil coming out of the starter, so that was a little surprise, I guess. The way the original starters work is through centrifugal force. The gear is actually pulled into the flywheel and then spun back out afterwards. Sometimes these springs break, I've read online. I guess if you get too much gunk in here, these won't fully engage. The new starter will push the gear into the flywheel. So a little bit different operation than the original. I got to get a couple of shorter bolts because the bolts will only go through the mounting frame here versus these really long ones. So let me either go to the hardware store and get a couple bolts or find some in my bin here. I got to take a look. The other thing with this starter, my starter only had the one wire going to it. So I'm going to have to put a jumper wire going across these 2 per the instructions that they gave me. And I'll post a picture of that up here at the end of the video. Okay, so I got some 12 gauge wire, jumpered the 2 together, and I picked up some stainless bolts. This was the original bolt, and as you can see here, I'm not going to be able to have that length. So I picked up 1 inch and 1.25 inches. Probably the 1 inch will do. I'll put a lock washer on there, but wanted to have both, so I only make 1 trip to the store. I'm going to make sure these new stainless bolts thread into the housing before I crawl underneath the car with the starter. So as you could see in the previous video, I had to rotate the starter 180 degrees for what I believe would be the Bendix to clear the exhaust. This goes to the starter, but it's on the top side now and I really can't see it. I'm not sure if I'm touching the block or any other part on the starter, so I definitely don't want to short it out. So I went and picked up a piece of shrink tube, and I'm going to slide this over and expose just what I need to mount that to the starter post, and hopefully that should keep it from grounding out on anything. So let me get this shrunk on here. Looks good. All right, just got the battery hooked back up. Put my battery tender clips underneath the bolts there. And I got it sitting right here, so I will be able to plug right into it in the future. Let's fire this up and see if starter turns. Let's see if the old girl will start up for us. Who am I fooling? I knew it was going to start. I tested it before I started the video. Took it for a drive already. Running good, starting great. It's a longer project than what I expected, but we got her done. Thanks a lot. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.